Another day, another tireless opportunity to talk about Poppy Playtime. It's been on my mind since Chapter 3 came out, so I wanted to do another video on it. This time it's more on the lore side of things though, a slight deviation from my normal videos, so this time I want to know why the prototype killed Catnap. We're gonna go through why this isn't just a story about a vengeful god, but why it's about a father, a friend, who willingly surrendered his freedom to save his ally, only to face the chilling reality of his companion's monstrous transformation 10 years later. Welcome to Mindfork. So, at the end of Poppy Playtime Chapter 3, we finally rerouted enough power to the gas production zone, with the last kick being a giant blue battery we needed to put directly into the system. Before we can though, Catnap appears and makes us trip balls before chasing us upstairs. We go through the fight, making sure which Catnap is real and which isn't, before ultimately getting enough electricity stored in our green hand to disable him. He tries to spray us with his gas, but can't do it before bursting into flames. Catnap freaks out for a minute, trying to put himself out, when the prototype lowers his hand down. Catnap seems a little reserved for a moment, but it doesn't last, as he immediately takes a worshipping position with his hands outstretched, and the prototype uses his long spindly fingers to end our pal Catnap, taking his body with him as he leaves. So what happened here? Why did the prototype kill Catnap? Well, it seems like most are pretty torn. Some people think that it was a betrayal, that the prototype maliciously killed Catnap for failing him. Some think that Catnap willingly gave up his life to the prototype after realizing he was out of its depth with the player, and opinions mostly seem tied to the two. There's a little deviation, but not much. I mean, my own theory doesn't escape these two options, it's just slightly different in the execution, unlike Catnap's one. Anyway, if you like what I do and want to see more, wake from your slumber and flood the subscribe button with illegal opium gas. It helps out a lot and lets me know which videos you want to see. My theory is that the prototype and Catnap don't have the same ideas. Almost every theory I've read has said the same thing, that the prototype and Catnap are in cahoots. And I mean, it makes sense. Catnap worships him as a god and does his bidding, whatever that may be, even giving his life if needed. But is this the only reason? To explain further, I need to talk about Theodore Grambell, the original identity of Catnap. Around 1989 to 1990, Theodore, or Theo, was a 7-year-old living at Playcare. He's having fun, doing kid things, doodling, when the counsellors at Playcare notice he's made an imaginary friend. Nothing to worry about. Some kids have their oddities. But then Theo starts behaving weirdly, unlike a 7-year-old would. Joel Sinclair, the head counsellor at Playcare, finds Theo digging around in his office's filing cabinets one evening. While angry at first, Joel realizes that Theo has no idea what he's looking for, prompting him to ask why he's here. Theo says that his imaginary friend told him to look for a specific file, but that he couldn't remember what it was called. Suspicions arise about the imaginary friend, but again, some kids have their oddities, so Joel signs him up for special counselling sessions to figure out why. And that's the end of it. For a while, until 2 grab packs and 2 green hand attachments go missing from the Playcare school. Nothing really came of it until a little while later, nearing the end of the year, when Theo's unconscious body is found in the arms of the prototype himself, outside Thomas Clark's office, a pediatrician for Playtime Co. After piecing together what had happened, investigator Gerard Lockhart comes to the conclusion that the 2 missing grab packs were taken by Theo and his imaginary friend, now revealed to be the prototype, and used these to try and get through a service access tunnel. They were successful in unlocking it, but something happened to Theo, his grab pack malfunction and electrocuting him, endangering his life. The culmination of the prototype's work was in sight. He had escaped, gotten the necessary things to get out, and was about to step through the door to leave, but he turned around, saving Theo's life and getting himself recaptured by Playtime Co. again. A while later, Theo was chosen to become Catnap. He undergoes the procedure around November 1990 and is reintroduced to Playcare. So what has that got to do with them both now? Well, right after the procedure, Leith Pierre, the head of innovation, notes that Catnap hangs around the prototype like a lost puppy, and that the prototype doesn't seem to mind this. At this point, the prototype has a pattern of being extremely aggressive, so the fact that he was noted as being docile in this case was surprising to researchers, enough so to note it. These two behaviours are exactly what we're seeing now. Catnap behaves like a devout follower, using every opportunity to treat the prototype as his god and savior, while the prototype simply leaves him to his devices. He doesn't see a problem with Catnap's behavior and simply lets it be. To that end, my theory is that the prototype just doesn't care about us, and that he lets Catnap do whatever he wants around Playcare, since that's what makes him happy. We're told in Mr. Light's notes that she's told to give information about the facility to him and the prototype. But why? What exactly were they reporting for 10 years of silence? And concerning us as a character, even if Catnap reported back to the prototype that we were in Playcare, why would it matter to him? It's not like we were actually doing anything. So far it's only the toys that have been doing the killing. We, to the prototype, seem unimportant. He's doing things around us, like taking the bodies of the foes we've faced, but he's not actively doing anything to us. If he wanted us dead, we would probably be dead. Poppy said as much on the elevator. If he wanted our help with something, he's had plenty of opportunities to talk to us, but he hasn't done either. So if the prototype's not the one manipulating things, then who is? Well, Catnap. It's not like this comes from nowhere, in fact it's rather straightforward. He's the one that locked up Delight. He's the one that told her to report to him and the prototype. He's the one that punished the heretics, killed the other critters and tore Dog Day apart. He's the one that demands fear and subservience from the smaller smiling critters. And he's the one directly responsible for everything that's happened in Playcare since we stepped foot inside. But why is he doing this? Well, I can tell you. If you've ever been around children for long enough, you'll have played in a make-believe house, store, zoo, whatever have you, in some kind of role-playing game. I think that's what's happening here. Catnap has taken the role of a follower, so invested in this role that he's turned it into his entire personality. So what does the prototype do? He plays along, of course, like a parent playing with their child. I mean, Catnap is technically still a child after all, 7 at the time of the procedure, and so 17 by the time we get here. Mr. Prototype, sir, we have a break in the old schoolhouse. How would you like to proceed? Oh, I'll let you handle it, Catnap. Thanks for your service. Mr. Prototype, sir, I have punished the heretics for disobeying you. Thank you, Catnap. Carry on. And this continues for 10 whole years. Catnap keeps up this persona and the prototype goes along with it to keep him happy. But then something different happens. Theo was hurt again, this time by some random intruder with an old grab pack. On the brink of death again, the prototype comes to Catnap's aid to try and save him again, like he did many years before. But it's different this time. Instead of behaving like a child, like a kid that's fallen off their scooter or hurt their back on a trampoline, Catnap picks himself up and expresses a devout servitude, an intense level that perhaps the prototype hadn't seen in Catnap yet, and it scares him. He thinks, I thought we were just playing pretend, and realizes what's happened. Theo's broken. It's not the energetic kid that ran around Playcare anymore, not the kid that loved the prototype and called him his friend. It was just Catnap. A shell of what he was, drowning in this lie he made for himself. And so the prototype does the only thing he can do. He does Catnap a kindness by doing what he should have done before Theo got turned into this monstrous, inhumane thing. And he puts him out of his misery. The prototype may have wanted to save Theo again, but with all the terrible things that had happened here, this was the only way he could. So that's why I believe the prototype killed Catnap, to save him from himself. And if this is the case, this might be the final nail in the coffin that gets the prototype to finally chase after us. Right before the game ends, we descend into the depths of Playtime Co, with Kissy Missy hanging around at the top. When we're lowered, she screams like she's being attacked, but before we can see what's going on, the hatch shuts and we're locked beneath. Something happened to Kissy when we descended, so maybe the prototype thought that an eye for an eye was necessary. We took his friend away from him, now he's gonna take our friend away from us. Like the video if you agree, or if not, let me know what you think in the comments below. This isn't the first Poppy Playtime video I've made, and it probably won't be the last. But for now, check out my other one. I go over what the red smoke could be using biology and chemistry research. Not quite lore focused like this one, but interesting nonetheless. Anyway, thanks for being here. I hope to see you again soon.